So it's been a few hours and it's still pretty surprising. I've had a chance to kind of think things over. So, what are my honest thoughts? What are my honest thoughts on CM Punk going to WWE? So, I first want to say that fandom, in my fandom, CM Punk, while he wasn't ever my number one favorite guy, he was a very important guy. I met him in 2004. He was actually the first guy I ever saw main event an indie that I've ever gone to. I'm pretty sure that he was the first guy I've ever seen main event on an indie show, not a WWE or a big company, an indie show. So, I've always liked Punk as a talker. I've always thought that he was, a pretty decent wrestler. And I don't think he's in the top like 10 in ring, but even he would say that. He's more of an all around package and a character. But I lived through the 2005 Summer of Punk and, of course, the 2011 Summer of Punk and the Pipe Bomb. And then, of course, AEW for the past couple of years. I actually have done reviews on every AEW pay-per-view that Punk has wrestled on. I think I've done reviews on every single one. I know that I was at a few of them. So I've never had an issue with CM Punk. However, his attitude in AEW, and yes, there are two sides to every story, but he seemed to be the common denominator where things would just get physical around Phil. Physical Phil should be his nickname instead of One Bill Phil. Physical Phil. Because it was just far and away more than just the situation with, the elite. And boy, the timing of the Young Bucks taking time off couldn't have been at a better time. And Kenny Omega and the thing with Ace Steel and all that during Brawl Out. And then the Jack Perry situation at All In. And like the dude just became a huge pain in the neck for AEW. So I do not condemn Tony Khan for getting rid of him because he was causing that locker room. He was causing problems. I mean, he was. Now, again, there are two sides to every story. And Punk has not gone on record publicly yet about his side of what happened at All In. And really, we haven't even heard him actually candidly talking about his AEW experience overall. We haven't heard that. What I have found most amusing about this whole thing is the fandom's reaction to CM Punk going to WWE. With it being a mix of, people saying they don't know what's going to happen with the WWE locker room now that he's there. There are AEW fans who have kind of spit on CM Punk for going back on his word and going back on all the stuff he said about WWE and all these different reactions. You've got a lot of CM Punk fans who are thrilled. They are thrilled because for a while there, and I can't blame them for feeling this way, but for a while there, it seemed like we weren't going to see CM Punk again. I don't think Impact Wrestling, or now once again going by TNA, I don't think they would have been able to afford him. And I could see him doing New Japan for a couple of matches, but I can't see him doing a full out like 2 or 3 year run there. I mean, maybe he could have, but it just didn't seem like something that Punk was interested in. And I guess when he went back to wrestling in 2021 with AEW, he got the wrestling bug again and probably realized, hey, I can probably make some money doing this for at least a few more years, so why not try? And for whatever you feel about Punk behind the scenes, he definitely didn't, phone it in when it came to his in-ring work in AEW. He had some brutal matches in that company. He really did, in the ring, try to do the best he could. Lots of effort. But there's been a lot of different opinions. Also, people seem to think that Seth Rollins being mad was a shoot. Even though this is all going to be part of the angle. This is all going to be part of the story. They're probably going to headline night one, I would assume. I'm not saying that as an inside scoop. I'm just saying it would make sense since CM Punk always wanted to headline WrestleMania. Well, night 2 is probably going to be Cody and Roman, so night 1 is going to have to be Punk and Seth, right? You would think. You would think. But nevertheless, what are my honest thoughts? I don't think WWE needed him. I don't think this was a situation where he was this big star. I don't think Triple H or Nick Khan or anybody felt that they really needed this guy. Like, I don't think they felt like they needed him to work for them. They have so much equity right now. They have so many top guys. They have so many big stars. They're doing so well critically and creatively and even financially, this year that CM Punk was not needed. But clearly they saw enough value in him and he saw enough value in what they were offering that they were both willing to put aside whatever issues they had, hopefully resolve them. Because remember, Punk was very upset, very, very upset over being fired on his wedding day. That's something that he said many times. In most interviews he said discussing WWE, he was really upset about it. And Vince McMahon has always said that it was not done on purpose, that it just so happened to be on that day. Don't know how true that is. Again, wrestling is weird because while it may have actually been a mistake, WWE and wrestling overall has brought out the pettiness in people. And Punk himself has been petty. I mean, the post-show scrums and the things he would say, like he himself has that side to him. For all we know, he may have gone to WWE just to spite AEW and to make a little bit more money. I don't know. But honestly, I'm not really that bothered by it. I guess maybe in some ways you could say that it does take a roster slot away from a potentially up-and-coming guy. So there is that. Even though I also feel like Punk is probably not going to be a full-time guy. I have a feeling he's going to be working a more light schedule like a lot of the older guys have done lately, like John Cena, Roman Reigns, Brock he's been gone for a while. So I feel like that's where they're going to position Punk as more like a part-time guy. I don't see him doing full-time unless he actually does win the title from Seth Rollins. I don't think he's going to win the title from Roman Reigns. I've seen some people throw that out there, and I'm just thinking to myself, why would you ever take the title off of the biggest heel you've made in decades to put it on a 45-year-old guy who's injury-prone, who every time he's had a title has injured himself? It just seems pretty simple to figure out, but I guess, again, I say this all the time, people don't seem to use their brains that much. I just don't see that being a thing. Could it happen for a short reign? Sure, but I don't think Roman Reigns, I don't think sacrificing all the work you put into Roman Reigns for somebody other than Cody Rhodes or an up-and-coming guy just doesn't make any sense to me. And that is still the plan, is Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. That is still the plan. We'll see where they go with it, but we'll see where they go, like I said. Either way, how do I feel about it? I'm not upset about it. I'm really not, and I'm not, happy about it, although I am kind of cautiously awaiting Tony Khan, and he hasn't made any reactions to it or anything. I haven't seen him, freak out or anything yet, so maybe he won't. I was looking forward to seeing if he was going to have a spazzed out Twitter day, but I guess he hasn't. So just because, he has had them before. But I'm not mad and I'm not enthralled. I'm just I'm intrigued. I am intrigued about what Punk is going to say in his first promo. And I am intrigued about what Punk is going to do should he be on Raw Monday. So I guess we'll find out then. Those are my thoughts.